Welcome back, folks, to the Wet Shavers Roundtable, episode 70, with your host, Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com, Scott, the Clean Shaver, Oster Miller.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
And Christian, we don't have a nickname for you yet, Levesque.
You can call me Brunswick. I think some people called me that when I'm unruly. They call me that. It's because I'm from the province of New Brunswick in Canada. And someone just said, "Hey, Brunswick, keep it down." And I thought, that's the coolest nickname ever. So,
that is awesome.
I thought it was the name of your mustache, actually.
And it was actually the last 2 years. And this year, I'm trying to do a mustache, a thinner mustache like Clark Gable. And I kind of butchered it today. But I'm not using the most precise tool. It's a very sharp tool, but this is not meant for minor tweaking around the nose. Yeah.
You need barber's clippers, really. You put the attachment on that and you trim it down so it's really like a little beezer on your above your lip.
Right.
And then you shape it with a razor. But I tried it one time and it is tough.
I just used scissors when I had my beard going. I would just use a little pair of scissors just right along the lip.
Yeah.
That's what I did on the bottom part. It was the top part where I wanted kind of an upside down T, and it kind of messed up around here. And anyway, I'm going to keep working at it. It grows back. So
I would almost think like a shavette would be a really good solution for that, just to get into tight corners and be able to see what you're doing, without a handle in the way.
That's right. Yeah.
All that said, these are all remnants of Movember.
Yep,
that's right.
A couple of days ago. So for those of you who don't know, every year we do a How to Grow a Mustache Movember team. We have a Canadian one, and we have a North American or one from the U.S. Christian is always our captain of the States one. Ironically enough, he's from Canada, so go figure.
I'm everywhere.
But, next year, actually, we're looking to start an Australian one as well and a British one. So if you guys are out there listening and you're from either or, let us know if you'd be interested in captaining one of those teams. But Christian, how did we do this year?
This year we did really well. Just to let you know that I'm 3/4 of the way done making a slideshow video. And in it, we'll have all the information and the statistics. I'm not a statistics freak, but I do like to have numbers. So I'm working on all those things and trying to put together collages of images and have them transition in so that it's half decent. So it takes a long time. And for some reason, I've been hit by this bug called Interruptus annoyus. Annoying.
AKA kids.
Yeah, kids are the
puppies.
Tiny things are usually, or smaller things are usually part of that equation.
Particularly big puppies.
It's about you. There's nothing small about this.
Yeah. So
big interrupters.
Yeah. So it should be out tomorrow. I think I'll be able to finish it tonight and polish it off tomorrow. So it'll be out on social media wherever I've promoted everything from How to Grow Mustache Movember teams. But to let you know, this year we raised $5,835. So that's awesome. A really good job considering we only had 33 team members, Mo members in all. And last year we had 74, I think. I have to recheck my numbers. I have to recheck my numbers here, but we had quite a bit more members last year, more than twice.
So, but we had double the amount last year, and last year we made about $6,100, right?
Exactly $6,100. So
we raised almost just as much last year with half the guys doing it. So
that's right. Yeah.
Bros out there, part of the hit.
It's a great job. All the donors, all the Mo members, all the artisans who donated, and everyone who looked at what was going on social media and maybe talked about it out there, because part of the campaign is not just fundraising, but it's also raising awareness and, you know, looking for men to be more vigilant and sensitive to their health. And what that means is trying to adopt a healthier lifestyle. If you haven't been to the doctor in a while, it's a worthwhile investment. It's always better to prevent illness than to cure it. And, you know,
peace
to
of
move
mind is
around.
invaluable.
Yeah, and to move, you know, to do exercise. We're so sedentary, and it's easy to get caught up in that rat race. And quite frankly, I know my schedule is loose enough, although I'm full of interruptions, to do that. But someone that works, you know, standard 8 to 5, 5 days a week, and has kids and takes care of a household, I can imagine it'd be very difficult. But the point is to raise awareness, to hopefully motivate people to do all the right things. And raising this money is really good. It helps. These are cancers, I think, that research can help find cures. And men's health, you know, we're all too macho to look for help. But quite frankly, a lot of our behaviors can be explained by the fact that, you know, we're not getting the help.
90s. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So
our parents did in the 60s.
That's right. It's important to take care of ourselves. So I'm really happy with this year's campaign, and I'll have a short thank you video out there very soon. So good job, everyone. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Moving on. So, as I explained to people before we turned on the camera, if you will, today we are going to be doing another Q&A show, and we're going to specifically be looking at questions about shaving on Quora.com. And if you don't know what that is, it's a lot like ask.com, so on and so forth. It's question and answer website or forum. And I just been finding this really interesting, doing this, going right to like people that are just starting out into shaving or just have questions about shaving in general, nothing to do with wet shaving. So we're getting them right in the get-go and you know, starting them off on the right foot, if you will. So do you guys have Quora open?
I do.
Yes.
You do. You have any questions in front of you right now, Scott?
I actually happen to have the wet shaving feed or wet shaving topic in front of me.
The one that Christian has opened up.
Yeah,
too?
Christian tagged that in our little conversation there. I was like, oh, there's actually a topic for that. So let's see. So Douglas would be a good person to answer the question. What are shaving creams made of? I'm going to guess, let's say shaving creams / soaps. What are like the few key ingredients, let's say?
Well, since that is a wet shaving group and forum, I'm guessing they mean like the classic shaving cream that come in a jar, not the
probably like Cobb's, like that kind of stuff.
Not stuff that comes. They're made out of oils, butters, salt for the most part. I mean, like that is your basic ingredients in a shaving soap. Shaving soaps are formulated to create lather, glide, and protection rather than be a cleansing soap. So when a lot of people confuse the two, and you know, back in the day, I used to shave with a body soap in the shower and whatnot. Like I thought, I'm saving money, and you know, it's formulated. It's
Bar
not formulated
Dove
for them. Yeah, it's not formulated. Especially a Bar Dove. That stuff isn't even really soap. It shouldn't be called soap. That's detergent. They have detergents in that rather than soap. Soap should contain glycerin. It should naturally produce glycerin every time you saponify. Saponification will cause glycerin to happen. It's a byproduct of saponification, which is soap making or making of soap, chemical reaction. So, yeah, a lot of stuff labeled as soap, it should be completely legal to call it soap. It's actually a detergent bar, which is not soap. So, and it's not meant to be shaved with. And so, yeah, body soaps and detergent bars, you don't want to shave with. They're formulated differently.
Right. Well, so like a body bar is you know, you use the word detergent. There's also a surfactant is another term that gets thrown around like that. So if you look at the molecules, just speaking from a scientific point of view, this is something we talk about in my job. You have it's a molecule that has an oil-loving end and a water-loving end.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yes,
that will attract that. That's what dish soaps do.
It looks like a comet almost. It has a tail.
Yeah,
and catches the dirt.
Exactly.
Go on, keep.
Well, yeah, it essentially, like, it will attach itself to an oil and it'll attach itself to a water molecule, and those two molecules all come together and gets rinsed away. That's what a bath bar will do. A shaving soap is Not a like you said, not a cleansing soap at all. In fact, my wife, when I first got, I got a bunch of Soap Commander samples and all that kind of stuff. And for a while, she was like, "Ooh, this one smells really good. I'm going to use it in the shower." Like, she told me this after the fact. I was like, "You realize that's not really cleaning you, right?" It's like, "But it smells great and it lathers up." I'm like, "Still not doing it."
Yeah, people don't get that, and you'll see this over and I've been saying this for like the last 5 years, any place I can, and people still, you see it over and over again in the forums, like, well, it didn't work as a shave soap, but I use it in the shower. For what? It's not cleansing. It's not cleaning.
It smells great.
Yeah, exactly. You're just rubbing scent on yourself at the end of the day. So
I think it's probably because it's called soap. If it were called, shaving lather bar or shaving foam bar, it might help people understand that it's not a cleaning product at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right?
And that's just it. It's soap, and that's why these detergent soaps or bars, they call them, or beauty bars, they call them soap because it sells it. People are confused by that. So what are we saying over here inside? Live kombucha, doctor from me. G.I. James is here. Judge here. We got people confusing the topic over on the side. Okay, what's the next question? I think we got that one. Now, what was that? That was what was shaving creams made out of?
What are shaving creams made of? Yeah. Let's see. One. Another one. Can you use shaving cream as hair conditioner?
No.
I've heard vice versa. I've heard people using hair conditioner as a shaving cream, like just as a lubricant on their face while they shave. I've seen that happen. Kind of works, but not the other way around.
I mean, I'm trying to even think how that would work.
Especially not the canned goo stuff, because that's just going to dry your hair out.
No, you really don't want to. I mean, like, it's all about pH when it comes to, your skin and your hair, and it's not formulated to be used in your hair, one, and it'll probably end up stripping your hair too. So I would never use that in my hair. No, especially the stuff in the can too, with all the canned goo. If they're talking about that, there's all types of weird stuff in there. That I would not want that in my hair.
Yeah. And just to address something over here, Judd, we're looking at questions from Quora. So I'm looking at this on a different page. So you're right. Nobody asked that question on the sidebar here or down in the questions. I'm looking at a different page. So, he was just kidding. I was taking it seriously. So see what happens.
Scott's very serious, Judd. Yeah, there are no questions down below.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a poll, though.
There is a poll.
Yeah. When you travel, do you prefer a travel brush or use one of your daily dryers?
Yeah, that's my poll. G.I. James says that Paul Mitchell tea tree oil or tea tree, what is this? Mitchell tea tree all body lotion works well as a pre-shave for the whiskers. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I love anything with tea tree in it, especially Paul Mitchell. Like, that was one of the original shampoos that we do back in the day. But I mean, it would just that tingle on your head and whatnot. Now I think I'm just like, I don't even feel it anymore. I think I'm just so desensitized to it. But I love tea tree shampoo. I'm always looking for it.
Haven't used shampoo in years.
I don't know what you're missing. Actually, you do.
I do know what I'm missing. Let's see. Let's do the regular shaving one here. Oh, well.
Yes, the tea tree. I know exactly which one you're talking about, Mike Harris. I get that one too. I have that in the shower right now. Sorry. Tea tree can be used in place of menthol too if you're making an aftershave or a soap. A lot of people don't realize that. I actually doubled up on frostbite back in the day. I used to put tea tree in it as well, and it was just like this.
Yep.
Wow. I wish I liked the scent of tea tree.
You got to cover it up. I mean, a lot of people don't. It's often covered with like peppermint or mint. Okay. You'll notice, but yeah, a lot of people don't. Arnica. Arnica is great too. Yeah, well, you combine it with arnica for a massage oil. I'm answering a question on the side, or I'm talking to someone on the side. Okay, what do we got? So aside from the wet shaving question page you guys are on, I also just search shaving for men or something like that. up top.
Yeah.
And where is it? And I got okay, here we go. What is the best way to maintain a shaved head for men? Scott?
So best way to maintain a shaved head, it really depends on what you're comfortable with. If you want to have, some people just like the like no hair look without having to actually shave their head with a razor. Like some people like just the Bear Clippers buzzed look. And if you want to do that, great, go for it. That's really low maintenance, and it takes just a few minutes every day or every few days. If you want to maintain a razor shaved head, obviously wet shaving is probably going to be the best way to do that. And I recommend doing it with a double-edged or if you are just starting out wet shaving, a double edge is great. A gem single edge is really good. I also really like injectors. Like the Schick injectors are great head shavers. Or like the Get Supply single edge is a great head shaver as well. And yeah, just make sure that you take your time. If you're going to maintain a really bare shaven head, it takes some time. And so
what about a pre-shave? What are the steps?
Pre-shave for me, I don't generally.
I know you just did a video on pre-shaves.
Yeah, I just did a video on that. My pre-shave routine. I generally just wash my face and my head before I shave, and then I might every now and then I'll put a little lotion or something like that on it beforehand. But generally, I don't do any pre-treatment. Just get it wet, lather it up, and shave it.
Okay.
So
yeah, whatever works.
And that's exactly it. You find what works for you.
Exactly. There really are no rules. We can only give you tools that are given to us, and they're either going to work for you or they're not.
I do know that when. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
I was going to say I do know that when I used to shave my head with a cartridge razor, like a multi-blade cartridge, I would get a lot of the little pimply things on the back of my head, especially the little ingrown hairs or the irritation things, and that's no fun. It doesn't look very good either, and so that was one thing that wet shaving really helped cure for me, was having those issues.
So I was going to ask, had we raised over $6,000, I was going to shave my head with the Kamasori razor, and I think the deal.
Hey, we missed it by that much.
I know, and yeah, so I think what was really frightening for me was the fact that I wasn't going to buzz my hair off first. I was going to go straight like that, and I was going to load my hair with oil so that it was some kind of slickness. And one of my fears, other than cutting the crap out of my scalp, was to have my arm up the whole time. How difficult is that? Like, does your arm get tired after a while? I mean, I would do it ambidextrously, but how would you, does your arm get fatigued after a while?
It can, depending on the weight of the razor. Like for instance, with the Hone Type 15, the brass one is really, really heavy. The Above the Tie Stainless SE1 is also really heavy. It takes a lot. I mean, you get used to it eventually. You build up some muscles in your arms. Do a few extra reps at the gym, and you can do it. But
stand on your head, do push-ups.
Put yourself in shaving traction and just have your arms up and just.
Okay.
It can get a little. It can get a little tiring. It's just you get used to it over time, and you also, as you start to learn to do it faster, you get less fatigue because you're not holding your arm up here as well.
Scott, just your mic, I think, is bumping into your zipper.
Oh. Sorry about that.
Is there just one last question about that? Is there the grain of the hair on the head? Is it as obvious as on the face? Because my impression is it sticks right up on top. On the side, I could see it probably has a grain.
Like a squirrel.
It it is a little bit. That was a sidebar comment.
Yeah, but it was a duality. It was duality to it, I guess.
There actually is some direction of growth on your head. So at least for me, the stuff like up here on the crown of the head, it generally grows forward. The sides from here down, it generally grows down, except for back here on my neck, it grows slightly sideways.
Oh, okay.
And so if I want to get a truly BBS shave or something like that, I have to shave sideways back here on the nape of my neck, and then up on the sides and back on the top.
So it is just as much work to figure that out on the head as it is on the face. And doing 2 to 3 passes is what it takes.
Cowlick or whatever they call those. Cowlick? Yeah.
Cowlick,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
like, of course, mine's been gone for years, but yeah.
Yeah, I've had a cow lick mine off almost too.
Well, I have curly hair, so it tends to hide it. But when it's first growing out, it's like does what it wants to do, and it's like God.
Yeah. So if you wanted to go against the grain, or find the actual, or against the growth, whatever. If you want to find the actual growth patterns, then you have to kind of let it grow out and see what it's like. But
that's the chart I have not seen yet. Is the growth pattern for your head?
For your head,
map.
I should.
Yeah, I think it's actually
totally do one.
I think. Well, I don't need to, but for the bald guys out there, there's a lot of bald guys that are wet shavers and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of bald guy like love pages or whatever. Not what it sounds like, but yeah, but they should have growth patterns for the head, like that you would map out.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Get to it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we got? Actually, I found a really good one. This one is, and I need all your help. This includes you guys in the audience too. It's what are some awesome facial shaving tips for men? What are some awesome facial shaving tips for men? What you got?
Well prepared and moistened face. Well prepared and moistened face. That's the first one, I would say.
Scott?
Wait, so repeat the question. Let me just make sure I understand completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic, and it's like where do you start? But it's what are some awesome facial shaving tips for men?
Okay. Use a single blade and take your time.
Okay. Now I'd like to link both those together. Yes, a well-hydrated face first. I don't care how you get there. I do recommend a hot shower beforehand. But if you don't have time for that, a towel, a wet towel, hot towel on your face works. But you don't have to get all that crazy. You just wash your face with a good puck of soap. Clear, high glycerin soap works really well. Only due to the fact that the glycerin pulls in moisture. So you clean your face with that. It'll degrease your face. The residue that's left there will pull water in. But you want to get the bristles really, really wet, so that they're fatter for the blade to eventually bite onto. It's more surface for the blade to bite onto. So hydrate your face really well. Shower is the best way to do that. I recommend a good pre-shave, be it oil, be it a pre-shave soap, or be it jelly. Applying that first, and then building a lather for the first pass, at least in your hand or in a bowl, and painting it over the pre-shave you're using, and then hitting that. For each other pass you do, you could re-lather on your face. You can build lather on your face now. Typically that I do if I use an oil, just because I don't want the oil mixing into my brush. So I don't want to build lather on my face if it's covered with oil. Pre-shave soaps and jellies, not really much of a problem, but again, it's a good habit to get into. Another good habit to get into is, if you're using a pre-shave oil, soap, or jelly, is use your non-dominant hand to apply it to your face, not the one that's going to be holding the razor eventually, because some of this stuff is super slick and you don't want that on your razor hand. That said, a bar of aluminum, a puck of aluminum, you rub your fingers on that before you pick up the razor, and that'll give you some grip too. So all that's that's a lot to digest right there, but I think those are good starting tips. And the biggest tip of all is use a double-edged razor or a single-edged razor or a straight razor. Don't throw the cartridges, just throw them in the trash. It's not, one size fits all does not work for everybody's unique face. The beautiful thing about wet shaving with a DE blade or with a straight razor is you can customize the shave for the first time in your life. customize the shave to your face using different components, different blades. There's hundreds, thousands of different types of blades you can use in a razor, thousands of different types of razors you can use, thousands of different types of soaps, pre-shaves, so on and so forth, brushes. You can really find the parts and pieces that work well for your unique face. And you can't do that with a cartridge razor. You get the goo in the can, and the cartridge one size fits all, and it's crap, plastic crap, and it's garbage, and filling up the landfills at the end of the day anyways. So
yep.
And and to find out more, go to itscalledwetshaving.com, which is a great resource page. No advertising, it's just a resource page. It's called wetshaving.com. And there's also other forums and groups out there that you just have to Google wet shaving, and you'll find them. And or YouTube. Go right to YouTube and Google and search wet shaving, and you can find a million tips, tricks, and hacks every Tuesday by me. But okay, so that anyone in the audience, any here we go.
Mike Harris said to be prepared to experiment and not love everything in order to find what you love, and more importantly, what your face loves. That's absolutely true. Yep, I have tried a lot of things that my face or my nose just didn't agree with, and that's okay. It doesn't work for everybody.
And the other thing too is, unlike cartridge razors or multi-blade cartridge razors, no pressure. I'm still working on getting rid of that muscle memory. It bothers me that I catch myself still 2.5 years into it, still finding out, and the another good tip is at the end of the shave, because your face has been washed, moistened, shaved, so there's a lot of skin cells that have been removed. You're now kind of raw into the world, is to finish off with a lotion that helps condition your skin. So a balm or an aftershave splash that has skin food in it. The ones that just have, alcohol, scent, and coloring smell good and may give you an interesting tingle, but I'm not sure it's the healthiest thing for your face. But make sure you have some good skin products on your face at the end of the shave to help your face get over this. You probably had a micro coat of your skin removed. So that's why it's all shiny and smooth. So you need to protect that.
Super exfoliating. So yeah, you do. You don't. I mean, it's freshly shaven skin. It is. It's a sapling. You don't want to water it with put it in direct sunlight, like if you will. You don't want to slap fire on the thing, which would be alcohol. And if you do use an alcohol-based aftershave, make sure that's loaded with skin food. It's like moisturizing ingredients too. That's going to take care of it and nurture it, if you will, pamper it. And then we have some tips to the side over here. Mike Harris says another tip: go to reduction, not elimination, and that's a good point. I do 4-pass shave. You can do a 2-pass shave. You do a 3-pass shave. You can do a 1-pass shave. And what I mean by pass is, if this is your first time hearing something like this, is you would lather up, do the shave. I go down with the grain first on my neck, everything, and then you lather up again for the second pass, and then I go against the grain, or I go across the grain with the razor. So that's what he's talking about there. So it's not about taking as much hair off with one pass. It's about reducing the hair. It's about hair reduction with every pass you do. So if I do 4 passes, I've taken off 4 times as much hair as just by doing 1 pass with a cartridge razor, let's say, with only 1 blade. I hope that makes sense. And that's what Mike is saying. And James is also saying pat dry. After you do that cold water splash after you shave, don't take the towel and rub your face with it and agitate your face. Pat it dry. And then witch hazel. Witch hazel is another great astringent and toner to use. One of the oldest ones out there. It's a barbershop classic. Native Americans are the ones who got a tip to that, and it's also the most studied shrub on the planet. Typically with FDA, like herbs and stuff like that, they say it hasn't been verified. Statements haven't been verified by the FDA, so on and so forth. But with witch hazel, that's one we actually did study. There's thousands of studies about this plant out there, which is amazing. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I was researching it. Mark says, if one blade doesn't work in a razor, don't give up on that razor. Try a different brand of blade. And that's right. Buy a sample pack of blades when you first pick up a DE razor or a single edge razor, and try as many different samples for a week. Try a different brand a week and get a feel for it. Maybe take some notes, or take a note on the
Don't give up on it after one shave either, because I mean, if that were true, then I would never shave feather.
Yeah, true. And even if you do eventually find your favorite in the first months of shaving, a year later, go back to them and try them again because your technique's going to improve as well, and like those blades will react differently. It always shocks me when I go back to a blade that I used to hate and I get a good shave out of it, which is Rapira. I'm now enjoying Rapira, which is great because it's so affordable. And
they're cheap.
Unless it's a micro touch. Unless it's a micro touch. Well, actually, micro touch is a good travel razor. And it's
one that you wouldn't care about losing.
Exactly. It's something that you can try to sneak on an airplane if you want, because you're only at what, $9 now, and with the right blade, they will give a good shave. So, and it's also entry level. So I don't see any problems with the micro touch.
Right.
But in my razor butterfly, yes. Mark says feathers are usually too sharp for me, but in my razor rock butterfly, the feather is awesome. Yeah, it's funny how that works, but yeah, different blades will react differently in different razors.
There's only two razors that I can use the feather and not have any problems, and that's the original double open comb, and the Hone Type 15 actually.
Yeah,
that one, it puts that blade at just the right angle where I can use it, and it's not a big problem.
Yeah, no, it's so important. It's also different materials too that will affect the blade, be it an aluminum razor, steel razor. It's funny, all the nuances that make up the shape.
Well, the design of the head too. I mean, a razor, like the top cap of the geometry of the head, if it comes down and it holds the blade rigid enough, that's where I think a lot of people get a lot of problem with feathers, is if there's too much blade flick in that. You can't see my hand moving that much. There we go. If you get too much blade flick, on a microscopic level with a feather, then you're going to get a lot of irritation. But if you have it holding that blade really nice and rigid, then you shouldn't have much problem with them.
Yeah, no, it's true. But interestingly enough, though, what I'm noticing is the geometry, even though the geometry is the same for my stainless steel DOC and the aluminum, two completely different shaves.
Yeah.
Really?
Because the weight makes a difference. Since the aluminum doesn't weigh as much as the stainless steel, you compensate for that. So it totally changes the feel of the shave too. I just sent out the stainless steel to Scott. I should have sent out the aluminum also, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just learning as I go with my razor designs. But that's one thing I'm noticing from. So if I was to do a Bakelite, an aluminum, and a stainless steel, even though it's all the same geometry, it would all feel differently, and
totally different.
One would be more aggressive, you would think, than the other. So it's really cool how that works. But something you guys.
So it sounds like you just opened another door to acquisition disorder.
Sorry, guys.
Great. Now I have to get an aluminum.
These are insights I have. These are insights I have daily here at Phoenix.
Well, Douglas said insights, and I hear cost.
Yeah.
It's smart marketing.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure you're genuinely, those are true statements that you're saying. It's just funny because, we want to try everything because we're hobbyists and find out what's the latest, greatest, and have fun with everything. So when someone who supplies us with all these Willy Wonka toys says, this is that, and then we're all going,
it's the same thing, but it's not. No, but the thing is that can also work against me too, because like you can have a great shave with the stainless steel one, and then you can buy the aluminum thinking you're going to get the same one and get shaved, and you might not like it as much, or vice versa. You might like the one off the aluminum, so it's like it works. It's for and against me in that regard, but it's honest is what it all comes down to. And like those are little nuances that I'm noticing as I explore creating stainless steel, working with different metals. I haven't worked with these metals before, so it's really, or even Bakelite. So it's just interesting. Look at this. Want to see something really ugly? Talk about exploration. Ooh.
Oh, the red one.
Not even red. This is like electric. Like this is like clown fruit. Like kid's toy. Fisher Price, my first razor. But yeah,
there you go.
So experimenting here can be fun.
I need one of those.
What else we got? Any other questions out there?
Let's see. Yeah, I've got it. Well, I think there's some questions down in the actual question section on our screen here, but I've got some more Quora questions if we want them.
Well, let's see what we got down here for our boys.
Okay.
The first question is from G.I. James. What do you do for mustache/beard care as far as type of products for health and type of shape control?
I'll let you guys answer this one.
I could write a book on that. In fact, I did. I wrote a guide on that, and I'll give you the link in the side. But I mean, some people get really crazy with it. And for years, I had a great beard without doing much except shampooing and conditioning it. Now you have all these oils you can put in it and so on and so forth, and everyone and their grandmother's selling you one. But you really just need one oil, and I don't really care which one. I mean, you can use olive oil, but I mean, there's so many great oils out there, and all of them seem to simulate like your natural oils of your skin. That's like the selling point for a lot of these oils, like argan and kukui and all these like exotic ones. But that's the same selling. They use the same selling point for all of them. So I say pick an oil. Sweet almond oil is great. Just plain sweet almond oil. Putting that in your beard. I like to do it before I go to bed because I don't want to have this shiny beard during the course of the day. But other people don't mind that. So you take, you just a couple drops, put it in the beard, and just run a comb through it.
See, I'd be afraid to put olive oil in it because I'd smell like an Italian restaurant.
Well, unless you have oregano, oregano.
True.
Add a couple of drops of essential oil to your own little container, and it could help find an oil that doesn't have its own strong scent. But I used to apply, and I will still with this, is the cookie duster beard conditioning oil, and I would do that at night. And it's just like you. I didn't want to have a glistening beard. And then in the morning, when I would, there's 3 days a week where I shampoo my hair, and I would shampoo the mustache, and that oil overnight would help break down the wax, because some nights are where I would forget. And even I have wax-based pomade on. The nights that I forget to put the oil on before, when I shower the next day and it's shampoo day, it's much more difficult to get rid of the products. So the oil is really good at breaking down whatever products you might have.
It's gonna be and also certain oils though. Certain oils will break down waxes where others won't. Sesame oil is good. Almond oil is good for that. But otherwise, I mean, like your chapstick that you're using would fall apart. It'd be eating itself. So some oils work with waxes and some oils don't. And so that's what's different about Wicked Cookie Dusters. That's actually formulated to do just that. Right. So just putting that. And like, so that said, you got look at your lip balms too that you're using. If you have wax in your mustache, make sure that it doesn't have any of these oils I just mentioned in it, because if you start getting it from your lips up to here, your mustache will start coming apart. It'll start eating up the waxes in there. So just something to consider. But the guide I was talking about that I wrote a few years back is called Beard and Mustache. It's called Beard and Mustache Conditioning Manual for the Whiskered Warrior to the Everyday Gent. So that's online. Beard and Mustache Conditioning Manual for the Whiskered Warrior to the Everyday Gent. And I'm looking at it on slideshare.net right now. But I just put the link in the side for you guys. And someone else's.
Interesting question that just got put in here by Mitch. If we're ready to move on to another one. But
wait. Dana Shaver's telling me about the Safety Razor Compendium. I do know that. That's by Robert Waits. I had a fellow on my podcast years ago. I interviewed we were trying to get Robert on the show for a while on Mustache Play. We never did. But yes, I do know his book and his ebook too. I think he has now that you can print up the new page or new excerpts from it, or as he's writing it. But it's a classic book. I have that, and I have a couple catalogs, like old vintage razor catalogs they're great. But a lot of these older books on wet shaving seem like they were written by antique collectors, not actually shavers. So they'll give you like one picture of the item, of the razor. So just like one side, like it's not opened up, it's not a close, and it's black and white, the picture. So it's not this close up. So you're trying to identify what you have. Sometimes it's like, I wish they would show me another angle or whatnot. Nowadays, I think we just need some new books that are actually written by razor collectors as opposed by just antique dealers and whatnot.
Let's have Matt write one.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. No problem. What else we got? Sorry, Scott.
Let's see. The interesting question here. It says, why are shave soaps less slick with a straight razor shave compared to a DE shave? And I don't think, maybe I'll answer this from a personal standpoint. I don't think it's necessarily less slick from a straight razor shave. I think it's just a different action. Every shaving soap is going to have its peak, and you have to find that tipping point where it reaches its maximum production rate or slickness production rate. and every soap is different. So, you kind of have to fiddle with it and try to find, add water, add soap, add water, add soap until you find that tipping point. And then I think the reason that it might feel less slick with a straight razor is because of the razor itself, not because of the soap. When you go for a straight razor shave, you want something that's slicker and thinner generally than something that's thicker, like a DE. But with a straight, at least for me, I think it's probably because you don't have the weight behind it that you do with the DE, and the blade is at a different angle with a straight razor, and so it's going to feel different. You might feel a little bit more hair popping, a little more tugging with a straight razor. It could also depend on the sharpness of the razor, but I think it's probably just the two different tools rather than the soap.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I think it's with a DE, you're working with a fixed angle, so that ain't going to change. But now you're relying on you're holding the angle yourself, so you're going to, here and there alter it. So you might be scraping the soap off your face if you're doing it wrong. If the angles, what does G.I. James have to say about that? Is he even paying attention?
He said 6/8 and more is definitely beefy. So yeah, that's a great example. Like, the size of your razor. Like there was gosh, what was it called? The razor that Mike Martinez made it a while back to kill Wesley Allen's beard for Christopher Peace's fundraiser. It was the Peacemaker. That thing was a beast. Like it was a 9/8. So it's
cleaver.
Yeah, it was, and I shaved with it, and it was a wedge, which has more heft to it, has more metal in it, and it was just a huge razor. That thing was heavy, but I loved it.
Yeah,
because it had a lot of weight to it, and like I've tried that, and I've also tried shaving with super light philharmonicas, and I didn't like those because they're super light, and I prefer the weight to it. That's just me.
I guess
is it possible?
I don't know. There's one that soaps are slicker depending on different. I don't notice that at all with if I'm using a DE or a straight razor or a single edge like it. So I've just never.
It's
heard
probably
that.
just a different feel to the
Yeah,
shave.
I noticed a different feel, and it could have something to do. First of all, it's not this little surface on your face anymore; it's twice the surface. So you now are getting a lot more resistance. And the other thing too is like maybe the safety razor, you've got the blade and the head touching your face. So now you're creating a deeper dent in your face as the razor goes through. It may make it easier for the blade to hit your face more softly versus the straight, where it's all cutting surface and it's that long, and your face you will feel a difference, I think, when it runs on your face. That's just my intuitive guessing on it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good points. Good points. G.I. James says that he lathers differently when using a straight razor for slickness and glide. So I'm curious, what do you mean by that? Do you do like a paste, like a thick, like plaster, as opposed to like a foofy lather?
Like a drippy lather.
I think personally, I just go for a thinner lather. Like it's not thick, not sticky at all. Where with a DE, oftentimes you're looking for a lot of cushion.
Yeah.
I generally just look for a ton of slickness. I'm really looking for lubrication more than anything.
Thinner, but okay, there you go. Yeah, he agrees with you. Maybe I've been doing it wrong. I've been putting on like a thick plaster when I use a straight razor. I just feel like it's protecting me more, but it sounds like it's not. So thanks for the tip.
Hey, we are all learning something new today.
Yeah.
Every day.
There we go.
Okay, what are some tips for shaving the mustache area at a 45-degree angle area from the edge of the mouth? I rarely walk away from a shave with a clean look on those spots. That I think has to do with the razor too. A lot of modern DE razors have such clunky, thick, fat heads. It's tough to get in there, where a lot of the vintage ones have thinner heads that make it much easier to get in there. Like I like the Merkur 1904 myself, the original vintage one with a thin head. Thin heads I think are where it's at for under there, but that's me personally, and I'm going back 5 years ago now before the mustache was there. So what you guys got?
I'm not much for trimming mustaches and stuff, so I'm probably out of my element there.
Oh, is he talking about? I think he's talking about the mustache area.
Oh, just the mustache area. Okay. and a 45-degree angle.
The talking area, the pie hole.
Oh, okay.
Above the upper
Right
lip,
there.
between the nasal passage and the upper lip.
This guy right here. Okay. Yeah. I think you are right, Douglas. With the thinness of the head, it has to be able to get up there. And I mean, I have a big nose, or at least I think I do, and so I stick it in people's business. I can move my nose to the side like this. This is gonna look. You should make this the
caption.
Yeah.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, you should totally make that the thumbnail for this video. But yeah, you can move your nose to the side a little bit to get there. Really flatten the lip down as much as you can to get in that. It's a tough spot to hit. You
can move, face pull too with the other hand, a little bit of a loom on your fingers, and just pull the. You can see my mustache moving. Pull the skin where you can get at it. But it's like razor yoga. But I'm telling you, like, a lot of people love the Progress and all these fat freaking razors with big heads, clunky heads. They're adjustable. There's a lot going on up there, but it's no good for getting. I don't think it's good anyways, but your miles may vary. Thinner the heads, I think, will get you there when it comes to.
Well, and I think Mike made a great point earlier. He was talking more about beard reduction than actual elimination, and that's probably more what you should go for right here under the nose. Is just don't worry about getting it absolutely BBS, because it's a tough spot to do that.
Yeah.
Just go for, getting rid of it so it's not sticking up above the skin.
That might be where pre-shave works really well for you too. And you might want to wait to the end of the shave, or to the end of the shave, the last couple passes, just to give that more time to absorb more water. So it's
absorb it.
Absorb it.
Your Boston's coming out.
I know. God, I'm not even drinking. I'm just looking at it. I've glued this to this pre-shave soap. It's a long story. I'll talk about it some other time. Okay, so what else we got for questions?
Nope. There are a lot of questions about that on Quora, though. I've had to filter through some of them. No, there's one here. What do you do when shaving your head with a straight edge razor? It's on Quora. Generally, just don't. I have done it, and it works. It's just a DE is way more time effective, or efficient. Yeah. It just takes too long for me to shave my head with a straight. I can do it, but it just takes too long.
Yeah, people do it. We might not be the right people to answer that question. What else we got? Any other questions? Oh, wait. Mike Powell's saying he has an issue with the curve, with the neck and the head come together on his neck. So right there, that's nothing. Like I say, skin pulling.
Stretching.
Yeah, stretching and pulling.
Even with the safety again. Yeah. Even with the straight safety razor, I now got into the habit. I stretch, and by the time I get to the corner, if I let go of my skin, I've now taken care of my corner. So when I do my neck, I'm actually, you can almost see where I'm at that point there. So I think skin stretching, and especially around the Adam's apple, you can see here I have it's a little redder, but it's hard to stretch the skin that much. But skin stretching, I think, really helps with tough areas. Someone mentioned they had a chin dimple. That would be tough because that's like a two angle. I don't know how you
grow it out. Right, I would grow it out right from the middle of the dimple and bring
like 6 or 8 hairs sticking right out.
I saw so many guys.
Matt Weaver says swallowing helps with the Adam's apple.
Which also means drinking.
It also means love. Okay, what else we got?
What would you suggest for a newbie or frugal shaver about having a few shaving soaps to alternate rather than using a soap before moving on to the next? Could you give some ideas about selecting and rotating different distinct fragrances to avoid becoming desensitized and maximizing the enjoyment of each of them?
This sounds so familiar. James, I think you left this question somewhere else, and I forgot to write it down. So I'm glad you're with us right now. What would you suggest for the newbie or frugal shaver about having a few shaving soaps to alternate rather than using up a soap before?
I'd say start with some of the classics. Start with a Perazzo, a Mitchell's Wolfat, a Williams, a Tabac,
Tabac, definitely.
Tabac would be one that everybody should at least try it. And it's a great soap. It's just the scent is polarizing.
I love the scent. You will.
I used to. I've grown away from it a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just give it some time and maybe come back to it.
Aftershave, but I do like it in their soap.
Yeah.
But and also a bottle of vegetable glycerin, a little bottle of vegetable glycerin you can get at the pharmacy or Walmart or wherever. If you can't find it at like Walmart, one of these big box stores when you're out west or on the West Coast, look in the Latino section. We have them out here, and that's where I find vegetable glycerin. Go figure. I don't get it, but yeah, get a little bottle of that, and that you could have one soap and make it a different shape every time by just adding different amounts of glycerin to it as you're lathering it. You can create an uber lather. You can make it like a medium uber lather. You get a lot of different feels out of one shaving soap with just adding different amounts of vegetable glycerin. So that's another thing to consider, and it's really cheap to do.
And for someone that's new, also, they might want to take a look at the ingredients in the soaps to try like a tallow soap versus a vegan soap. That, there shouldn't be much of a difference, but they can play around with that in terms of finding criteria to choose different soaps. But different scents is an easy one, and go with the standard classics, lavender and sandalwood and bay rum and citrus type. Yeah.
Yeah,
or tastes like a chocolate cake. I mean, like it's a, with artisan shaving, the artisan shave soaps out there is a lot like vaping nowadays, where you can smoke like a chocolate cake. It's the same thing you can shave with the chocolate cake, which I think is not for me, but I mean, there are people that really get into food scented shaving soaps and aftershaves. You can actually spray on that aftershave and smell like a chocolate cake throughout the day. And hey, if that's I respect it.
We did a s'more smelling soap for Noah. And people loved it. I mean, I don't see it used that often, but people like using it every now and then.
But Douglas just released a ham scented.
Yeah, I know.
So that's not from baked ham. It's not hard.
It sounds like baked ham.
I literally messaged him after that. I was like, "Really, a baked ham?"
Well, you haven't seen
and he's
the
like,
label.
"Dude, it's working."
You haven't seen the label. The label says Yule ham, and underneath in parentheses,
I know.
It was really. Oh, I didn't know if you saw that, so I was like,
yeah, I saw that. And I was like,
yeah.
Really?
I couldn't believe it either, but
we've gone there.
We've gone there, and well, after dirt, pretty much anything is possible. So, it
was interesting actually. But
I think it's a very sophisticated scent, despite the name. But yes, and what else we got? So. What are we talking about?
There's coffee scented ones. There's, but yeah, I would say probably start with a few, like Christian said, start with a couple of classics or maybe a few, simple, straightforward scented ones and just kind of get a feel, get 2, 3, 4 of them, something like that. Don't go crazy and just try what you like. And if you end up not liking something, don't hang on to it necessarily, offer it up in one of the groups or something like that. Move it. Sell it.
Try it later. You might like it too.
Try it later.
Sure. I didn't like lavender before, and now I'm not running towards it, but I'm not running away from it anymore. So.
Right. I haven't been a big lavender fan in the past either, but I like Soap Commander Devotion, the other amber and lavender. I've actually been digging that lately.
I could just picture Christian running right now. I think that's
a field of lavender.
Lavender.
Actually, now you could picture me running. I'm in better shape than I was 4 months ago.
Right. There you go.
And I agree with Matthew Weaver. Bay rum goes with everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. That was my number one go-to. Even before I was involved in the wet shaving world, I was always a bay rum guy. But I do want to mention though, each soap, being a noob, you may know this, you may not, and most more than likely you don't. Each soap behaves differently. So there's not like one way to learn how to lather a soap. Each one has its own sweet spot. So just because a soap's not working for you, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be user error before it's the soap. So don't contact the artisan right away. It's probably you. You got to learn that soap. It may take more water. My whole motto
sounds like you've had a few of these discussions.
Yeah. When in doubt, add more water. No matter what soap it is, just like see where you can go with more water. It's called wet shaving for a reason. So water is your friend, but typically that is a quick fix. I know I blow minds for a living, but each soap you have to learn it before you burn it. So They all lather. It's just finding their sweet spot. At least the tried and true names, they all lather. Otherwise, they'd be gone.
And start with something that's less expensive. I mean, there are bloom it. Yeah, don't start down that path. But start with something less expensive. You know, one of our artisans, you can get some good soaps. You know, PAAs, Soap Commander, Sterling, Barrister Man, Katie's Bubbles. They're all pretty reasonably priced. Don't go out and go full bore and get the Castle Forbes or the Martin de Condres. They're great soaps. Expect they're great soaps, but they're expensive, and so don't go all out and try. Don't buy it from Art of Shaving.
Yeah, no, don't buy from Art of Shaving.
It's all overpriced.
It is overpriced. But Williams, get a puck of Williams at your pharmacy, and if you can lather that, you can lather anything.
Is that the graduation test?
Well, it's kind of like if you can play drum or guitar like on a shitty guitar and sound good, you play even better on a great guitar. It's the same thing. Yep. So it's always learn to play on a shitty guitar first, and then you'll be rocking when you pick up learn on an acoustic guitar, and then when you pick up the electric, you're gonna go all over the place. Same thing. If you can do Williams or Mitchell's Wolfat, like you're good to go. I mean, those are both like very. What did you got to say, Scott?
Well, I was going to say just a couple tips on the tip on Williams and Mitchell's Wolfat. Soak them.
Yes.
Soak the puck.
Bloom it.
If you bloom the puck. Yeah. That's one you can be confident in blooming. But literally, put it in a mug or in a bowl or something like that and soak it, because that actually does help you to create a lather with those two soaps. Those two soaps in particular really soak them.
We have Mike Harris saying, also, don't be ashamed if you don't like a popular scent. I really do not like or enjoy bay rum, but diving deep into the wet shaving world has taught me that scents are super polarizing. It's true. Yep. And even bay rum. Bay rum is just like an umbrella term. There are so many different rums out there. There's so many different sandalwoods out there. There's something, so like if you don't like one bay rum, try barbershop is even more like, what does that even mean? So, but bay rum is a lot of different versions of bay rum out there. If you don't like one, try another, or maybe you just don't like that bay scent. And if you have questions about bay rums, come and talk to me and Douglas.
And
we're both big fans.
I will say Burt's Bay Rum is one of the best damn bay rums they ever made in history.
Burt's Bees?
Burt's Bees. It's called Burt's Bay Rum, and it's no longer made. It's been discontinued, I think, in like 23, was it 03? I think it was 03 or 04. They discontinued making it, so I stocked up then. I still do on eBay whenever I see it, but it's the best bay rum. Like, it sets the mark for bay rum, for me anyways. But then again, Mike Harris might disagree.
So that's a good lead into another question that someone had written. Mike Powell had asked, with companies like Stubble Trouble, how do you match an aftershave so the scents would match up? The pairing dilemma of many people.
Well, I don't think about pairing. I think about complementing scents. So rather, like, you don't need to match your shave soap and your aftershave. In fact, for a while, I didn't make, like, Dirt is a fine example. Dirt was originally just a soap. There was no matching aftershave because I couldn't imagine people splashing on Dirt. They wanted to smell like dirt. So I made a fougere.
Like a greenhouse.
Yeah, I made fougere, which would complement it. Dirt would be the floor of the forest, and fougere would be the forest on top of it. So it's a complementing scents. So what is this soap he's talking about?
So like Stubble Trouble artisans that offer soap but not a corresponding aftershave product.
Well, what are the scents?
I would just say, so Stubble Trouble, they have
Pirate Cowboy.
Pirate Cowboy. They have
Praying Mantis.
Up and Atom. They have Praying Mantis. They have the Rhymes of Orange. They have a couple others, but
it's kind of like, okay, you don't want to buy. If you're gonna wear sweatpants, you don't want to wear the same matching sweatshirt on top. It looks like your mom dresses you. But you don't buy all your clothes at one store or by the same brand. You match. You pair your shirts. They complement each other. Colors complement each other. Same thing with scent. You can come up with your own unique scent if you start thinking about it that way, where you're complementing it rather than matching it and pairing it every single time. And it actually makes it more sophisticated and complex of a scent. So like, sandalwood would work great with an oak moss as well, or with a lavender. So you could use a lavender shave soap and then use a fougere cologne or aftershave on top of that, and it would pair well. A lot of the times, whatever soap you use, you're not gonna smell it throughout the course of the day because whatever aftershave you splash on, the alcohol's gonna eat up that soap anyways and that scent, and it's totally gonna dominate. So the whole matching and pairing it's all in your head, really. It's for you in the moment to match it. It just makes sense. But I'm all about complementing scents.
It's the notion of
believe in pairing.
Yeah, it's the notion of when you're eating a meal, first course, second course, third course, you don't want all your courses to be based on pepper, let's say. So you change them, but you don't necessarily want to go, pepper,
sweet,
and then vinegar, and then something super sweet. You can transition in. So your shaving soap could be a sandalwood, which to me is kind of a base, and it's not a strong, sharp scent. And then you could put an aftershave on that has maybe a sharp feature on it, but it'll blend well with it if you use something that also has a woody element to it, but it can have tons of florals in it or spice maybe,
Well, you look at some of the most popular colognes and perfumes are complex scents. They're a blend of a lot of different things. And so you don't feel like you have to smell like one thing or that everything has to be exactly the same throughout. Absolutely, pair things together, like Douglas said, and like both of you said, actually, bring things together that complement each other. It doesn't have to smell consistent throughout the whole thing. I mean, some artisans do make an aftershave and a soap that smell just like each other, but you don't have to do that. Yeah, like Douglas does that. Katie's Bubbles does that.
Almost everybody.
Almost everybody does. And so just find elements in an aftershave or in a cologne or something like that pair up. But Stephanie made a good point in that most of the time your shaving soap, the scent of that will wear off in a couple minutes.
Exactly.
If even that, so don't get too bogged down in the idea that you have to make them smell like each other. No, you don't have
what I'm
to.
saying. It's more for you. Anyone else outside of you is not even going to smell that. The soap is not going to still be on your skin. Another thing, if you're new to scents and stuff like that and can't figure out how to pair something, you don't know how to pair works or complementing works, you can cheat by looking at you've used a sandalwood soap. Just find an aftershave splash or a cologne that has maybe sandalwood in it as a note. They've already done the blending for you, so it has sandalwood. Exactly. So there's already sandalwood in it. There might be some oak moss, might be some other notes in there. You can use that. So your sandalwood would be underneath what you use for the shave soap. You just put whatever they've already blended on top that contains sandalwood. So that's one way to cheat. But I wouldn't overthink it too much. A cologne, at the end of the day, a cologne is going to dominate. Or a long-lasting aftershave is going to dominate, and everything else. So,
and if you want suggestions of a soap that like if you have a favorite cologne, and you want suggestions from people on a soap that would pair well with it, ask. There are all kinds of people that are throughout this hobby that have a lot of fragrance knowledge and fragrance understanding of how that all ties together. So ask if there's a perfume or a cologne that you really like. Just see, hey, I really like CK1 or whatever it might be. I really like that scent. What do you think would be a good pairing for it? And you'll probably get a variety of answers. But
some of them are pretentious, but but you'll definitely get a variety of answers.
Expect. Martin the Candle.
Well, I think we are at the end of the hour, folks, and then some.
We are. My wife's probably going to come.
I know, right? Grab him by the. No, he has no hair on his head.
The ear.
Drag him out of the room. You'll know when she's there, folks. So, thank you guys for participating in today's.
I get a scared look on my face all of a sudden.
You pee yourself. We all pee ourselves. But yes, it's been another great show. I love these Q&A ones. I want to keep doing these, I think, for a little while. I appreciate all the help from you guys in the audience. So shout outs to all you guys. And there's too many to shout out right now.
One of these times we need to have our significant others on with us so that people can see. They're actually nice people. They're actually nice.
We actually have significant others. We're not just online all the time. So thank you all for joining into the Wet Shavers Roundtable episode 70, folks. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to do this again next week in episode 71. Until next time, do I have anything smart to say here? Oh, I do want to say, if you haven't entered yet, please enter the Phoenix Arts and Accoutrements giveaway. We're doing holiday giveaways. We're on our second one right now. To enter, just go to PAA-giveaway.com. Go there right now, and there's like 8 different ways to enter that. and you can win a Scuttle and a Checkmate Suave 26 millimeter shave brush. So enter today at PAA-giveaway. And that's it,
and
folks.
I also have something really quick. I put together a quick survey asking people what their pre-shave routine is like, just to kind of find out what people are doing. So I'll put a link in the sidebar here, but then we'll also include a link in the description below when this is put on YouTube.
Oh, great.
I'll send it over to you, Douglas, so we can
Mike just put a link for the giveaway over to the side for you guys. Thank you, Mike.
Perfect.
Great. Until next time, folks, shave on.
See ya.
Yeah, what he said.